Nigeria confident of stronger bilateral ties with France as delegation continues engagement.
UNESCO hopes, and the whole world hopes, that will help in combating fake news, disinformation.
Reappointment as Director General, World Trade Organization is a global trust earned. President Bola Tinubu hails Okonjo-Iweala. HIV/AIDS mother-to-child infection, a huge burden. Experts raise alarm.
I don't come out open free and say I'm HIV positive like any other disease.
Hello and welcome. This is the News Desk at 6 on Nta News24. We are live in Abuja, the nation's capital. I am Stella Inameti. The World Trade Organization, WTO General Council, has reappointed Director General Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala for a second term. In a statement, the WTO DG says she is deeply honored by the trust and support of the WTO General Council and its 166 members. She affirms it is a privilege to continue serving as Director General for a second four-year term. The renowned development economist and global finance expert made history in 2021 as the first African and first woman to lead the 164-nation member WTO. Her first term as the 7th Director General of the WTO will expire on August 31, 2025, while the second term begins September 1. And following that appointment, President Bola Tinubu congratulates Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, the former coordinating Minister for the Economy and Minister of Finance, on her unanimous re-election as the Director General of the World Trade Organization, WTO. The Nigerian leader notes with delight that Dr. Okonjo-Iweala's unanimous appointment for a second four-year term demonstrates the trust and confidence the international community places in her leadership to advance multilateral trade for sustainable global development. In a statement, President Tinubu states he is confident that her continued leadership will strengthen the International Economic Organization's role as a critical pillar of inclusive global economic growth and good governance in the next 4 years. He says, as a committed member of the WTO, ECOWAS and the African Continental Free Trade Area, Nigeria will continue to support the WTO's mission to foster a fair, inclusive, and equitable multilateral trading system. Meanwhile, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has lauded the amicable relations with French President Emmanuel Macron, appreciating his interest in Africa. Tinubu expressed confidence that Macron's goodwill would foster stronger bilateral ties, benefiting the entire continent. At the state dinner organized by the French government for President Tinubu at Palais des Élysées in Paris on Thursday night, the Nigerian leader encouraged both Nigerian and French citizens to uphold the cordial relationship shared by their nations. First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu accompanied the president to the dinner, along with Nigerian government officials, businessmen, and the Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. In his remarks, President Macron acknowledged Nigeria's leadership in Africa, recognizing its role as a big brother to the continent. He praised Nigerians for their resilience and intellect, mentioning Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka and musician Femi Kuti as global figures. Macron noted that French investors have long been active in Nigeria, particularly in oil, gas, construction, and food security. In another development, Nigeria remains fully committed to seeing the full operationalization of the Media and Information Literacy Institute, for which it has been awarded hosting rights by the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, stated this in Paris during a meeting with the UNESCO Assistant Director General for Communication and Information, Taufik Yelasi, on the sidelines of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's state visit to France. The minister was accompanied to the meeting, which held at the UNESCO headquarters by Nigeria's ambassador and permanent delegate to UNESCO, Dr. Hajo Sani. Recalling his previous meeting with the UNESCO Assistant Director General for Communication and Information in 2023, Minister Idris reiterated Nigeria's gratitude to UNESCO for the honor of hosting a Category 2 MIL Institute, one of the 5 proposed across the world. He said that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been very supportive of the takeoff process and has approved the release of all funds required for the immediate operationalization of the institute, which will be located in the Federal Capital Territory.
It's an institute that we hope, UNESCO hopes, and the whole world hopes that will help in combating fake news, disinformation, misinformation, hate speech, to reduce it to the barest minimum. So this effort by UNESCO is a welcome development for Nigeria, and that is why Nigeria has decided to not just accept it, embrace it, but also to ensure that we host a very successful institute for the future generation.
Dr. Jelani described the imminent take-up of the institute as being very timely, given the growing impact of misinformation, disinformation and hate speech around the world, as well as the increasing importance of a safer and trusted internet among UNESCO's priorities.
And there is a clear procedure which has been started in order to have, hopefully next year, the UNESCO General Conference formally approve through a vote by its 194 member states, approve setting up this Global Media and Information Literacy Institute in Abuja. It will be a first of its kind worldwide, and we are delighted working with Nigeria on this very promising project.
They also discussed the UNESCO's new guidelines for the governance of digital platforms, published in 2023 following a multi-stakeholder consultation that assembled more than 10,000 submissions from 134 countries. And now to health matters. Data of mother-to-child infection of HIV/AIDS in Nigeria, experts say, is a huge burden that is alarming, bringing down the figures of pediatric HIV, especially since it is preventable when detected in pregnancy. They insist must be prioritized through multi-sectoral collaborations. Lydia Sampson reports.
Esther Hindi, National Coordinator, Association of Women Living with HIV and AIDS, wants social, cultural and structural barriers to HIV services tackled to prevent pregnant women infecting their children.
Access to commodity and services where discrimination is still on the rampage. HIV is still tagged as a promiscuous way of infecting individual or getting the HIV. Our cultural acceptance, and then the fact that you don't talk about HIV, or I don't come out open free and say I'm HIV positive like any other disease, and people would not have a second look at you. So issues like that are still factors, that hinder people from accessing their services.
And we're already building the capacity of the healthcare workers, the SACA staff, so that when the partner and when we are linking up, we're like the whole SD we are doing now in Kano, we start tomorrow. We'll start with the youth group. We're going to they're going to use social media to discuss HIV preventive practices along their peers.
Esther's optimism that with the right will, collaboration and commitment, HIV/AIDS can be eliminated by 2030, as projected, resonates with key players.
The key issues of key messages of prevention is key, and we want to continue to chalk that out and churn that out and tell people how to remain negative. So that's also our priority.
Government's commitment using their media outlet like NTA and some grassroots media can help us reach out to these communities and serve them in the languages they understand. Because most of our programs, we tend to use English, we tend to reach out, use people outside the communities that are being served to get services to them.
The guests are emphatic that issues of stigma must also be eliminated through robust awareness creation in local languages and strengthening of community engagement. The reintegration of HIV/AIDS clinics and centers rather than separating them will further encourage more people to come out for testing and accessing antiretroviral drugs and care. Sustaining and winning the fight against HIV/AIDS is a call for action across the country. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, Nta News.
Meanwhile, the National Hospital has received emergency kits for medical, surgical and dialysis treatment at its dialysis unit. The kits were donated by the First Call and charitable organization. Vivian Ezedife, who covered the launch and handover ceremony in Abuja, brings us the details.
Lead person of the First Call AIDS Charitable Foundation, Mrs. Khadija Fashino, explained that the gesture was inspired by her traumatic experience when two of her drivers were involved in an accident and that no one could assist with their medical bills. The choice of the National Hospital, she emphasized, was due to its credible data disposition.
Know that emergencies can happen to anybody at any time, and they could actually be helping themselves. So that's the story that we sell to them.
Receiving the items on behalf of National Hospital, the representative of the medical director stated that the dialysis kits will go a long way in alleviating the suffering of patients.
We call on the public, members of the public and those NGOs out there who are ready to help National Hospital and other health centers to please come up, just like First Charity that is doing now.
Actually helps them to perform the function of the diseased kidney, and which is essential for their daily living.
The First Call AIDS Charitable Organization is believed to be committed to restoring lives, rebuilding hope, and giving back to the community to make it a better place. Vivian Ezadifi, Nta News.
This is the news desk at 6. Let's take a break. More news when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Kogi State government has appointed the Deputy Governor, Elder Joel Salifu Oyibo, as chairman of the State Human Capital Development Council. Governor Ahmed Usman Odudo made the appointment as part of his administration's commitment to fostering human capital development for economic growth and prosperity. In a statement by the State Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kingsley Femi Faun, the state government emphasized it is focused on transforming the abundant human resources of the state into key driver of development. He further noted that the administration's significant investment in education and skill development aims to position Kogi as a hub for capacity building and innovation. Currently, hundreds of youths and women across the state are undergoing training in various trades to enhance their skills, improve their high livelihoods. Fanwu also revealed that Kogi State is on track to make a historic commitment to education funding, proposing over 30% of its 2025 budget for the sector. Additionally, Fanwu highlighted recent initiatives aimed at boosting workers' welfare and efficiency by digitizing the state scholarship scheme to ensure transparency and accessibility through the Tech on the Streets initiative led by the Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology. The government said equipping young people with essential digital skills reflects readiness to position Kogi State as a leader in human capital and economic development. The National Agriculture Foundation is brainstorming on practical approaches for strengthening the capacity of young people and women as critical actors in the promotion of food security in Nigeria. The engagement is at a seminar as part of activities marking this year's National Agri Show. Tokwe Alabi reports.
Women constitute 70% of the agricultural workforce and 60% of smallholder farmers, while youth are about 60% workforce and 30% smallholders capable of bringing energy and innovation, their tech-savvy and entrepreneurial spirit to bear on the sector. This year's seminar provides a unique platform for stakeholders to create opportunities for business networking and innovative access to markets, particularly closing the gender gap, which could represent up to 2% annual increase of the GDP, approximately $8.1 billion. Conversations at this seminar want Nigeria to target investments to boost youth and women farmers' participation and productivity to capitalize on economic gains.
Is to ensure to see how these small rural smallholder farmers can be able to be supported with either loans or grants where they can be trained on how to write good proposals.
The agri-sector can employ millions of Nigerian youth if only our state government can work together with the federal and all of us as stakeholders to begin to identify the various core needs and aspirations of young people, the women and the PWDs.
There are a lot of jobs that is coming up in agricultural development. So what I really want to send the message to the government is to assist them financially.
It's very engaging because this is the first time to be here. So I learned many challenges that some of the farmers are been having outside, like in the North Central.
I have learned that as a woman, as a youth, we should have an idea, you should be creative.
From the conversations at this seminar, there are hopes that many of the youth and women will go into agriculture and eventually assist in tackling food insecurity in Nigeria. From the Tudunwada campground in Nasarawa State, Tokwe Alabi, Nta News.
Recognizing and rewarding academic excellence to motivate students through strategic incentive mechanism will no doubt arouse national consciousness to continue to promote educational development in Nigeria. Minister of State Education, Dr. Shuaiba Saeed Ahmed, stated this at the second National Education Award Program to honor School Leaving Certificate Examination 2023 Best Students. Ibrahim Bello Gonda reports.
The National Education Award Program is an intervention towards motivating learning and reading within the Nigerian education system by honoring students that distinguish themselves academically. Minister of State Education Dr. Shuaiba Saeed Ahmed, represented by Director Senior Secondary Education Funsho Adewale, said effective reward system for educational excellence is part of the drive of the present administration's commitment for a robust education system.
Education remains the foundation of a thriving society. It empowers individuals to unlock their potentials for self-actualization and foster sustainable progress.
With the theme, incentivizing learning and reading process for optimal performance. Keynote speaker and Vice Chancellor, Nasarawa State University Kefi, Professor Saadat Hassan Liman, and other speakers reiterated the importance of recognizing educational excellence.
The reward concept is a universal way of encouraging excellence in educational attainment aimed at motivating the excelling students.
Identify and publicly honor reward the most hardworking and best students.
6 students who are the overall first and second best in WAEC, NECO and BES in Nigeria were inducted into the Education Hall of Fame 2023.
This event would spark the drive to strive for excellence in Nigerian students.
National Education Award Program Scholarship Endorsement Fund was launched as part of commitment to educational development. In Abuja, Ibrahim Bello Gunda, Nta News.
You're watching the news desk at 6 on Nta News 24. Another look at our major stories. Nigeria confident of stronger bilateral ties with France as delegation continues.
UNESCO hopes, and the whole world hopes, that will help in combating fake news, disinformation.
Reappointment as Director General, World Trade Organization is a global trust earned. President Bola Tinubu hails Okonjo-Iweala. HIV/AIDS mother-to-child infection a huge burden as experts raise alarm.
I don't come out openly and say I'm HIV positive like any other disease.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Nigeria and China have continued to explore strategic opportunities to further solidify their collaboration, aiming to propel Nigeria's economic growth while strengthening China's presence in the African market. Alika Opanachi Arua reports from the 2024 Nigeria-China Economic Trade Expo in Abuja, a key event focused on deepening economic ties between the two countries.
2024 Nigeria-China Economic and Trade Expo, currently underway in Abuja, serves as a key platform for strengthening economic ties between Nigeria and China, as both nations aim to enhance bilateral trade.
As a major component of the renewed hope agenda, the agenda has also placed transportation infrastructure development on a top scale of priority.
Through the exhibition and exchanges, we believe it can play an important role in further promoting the process of industrialization and agriculture in Nigeria.
This long-term strategic framework prioritizes investment across key sectors, including but not limited to transportation, energy, water, and irrigation.
For the Nigerian Exporters Hub, Next Hub, this collaboration with China is in line with its strategic vision of transporting Nigeria into a leading exporter of agro-commodities and services.
We've successfully brought the buyer and seller together. And apart from that, we were able to bring people that can add value.
Supported by sustained foreign investments, a key theme at the Expo is the need to diversify income streams through export-driven strategies, enabling more Nigerian businesses to earn foreign currency and contribute to the nation's economic stability.
This is a very big opportunity for Nigerian businesses, for Nigerian farmers. Now, they are here in Nigeria to see what we have.
As a media company, we have been bringing Nigeria and China so closer. Also, we encourage a lot of Nigeria local content.
Through initiatives like this, Nigeria is working towards becoming a manufacturing and technological powerhouse with a focus on developing critical sectors such as agro-commodities, infrastructure, and transport. In Abuja, Alika Okwanachi, Arua, Nta News.
Vice President Kashim Shettima has condoled with the governor of Akwa Ibom State over the death of his wife, Pastor Patience Umoino. State House correspondent Abdulrahman Jibrila reports that the vice president was in the country home of the governor in Ikotek Benudo in Nsut Ubium local government area.
We are here to celebrate life. The life of an Amazon who had contributed immensely, tremendously for the peace, stability, and progress of Akwa Ibom, the South and the nation as a whole. She had been a pillar of support to the husband, to the family, and we are all going to sorely miss her. May God grant His Excellency the Governor, the Senate President, the government and the good people of Akwa Ibom State the fortitude to be an irreparable loss. But she led a life of service, support, and humanity in pastoral care, just like her husband. She's a wonderful woman.
Thank you. Late Pastor Patience Umoino was widely loved for her compassionate leadership and humanitarian works in the state. And that concludes the news desk at 6 on Nta News 24. Thanks for watching. I am Stella Inameti.